Very well, thank you, Jackie. So thanks for your time and joining us today, and ready whenever you are.
Thanks everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Yes, I've come an awful long way. I'm right next door to the CQU Brisbane campus. So I've come a whole one building across, and looking forward to speaking to you all today. Now, first of all, we do have a wonderful website as well. That will be on the last page of this presentation. But we also have a booklet such as this, which is what we call our handbook. And I've provided that as a PDF document to Julie, so that will be uploaded as well. And Julie, I do also have the new dates for 2018 just released, so I have popped them into the presentation, and I will also send that through to yourself when I get back to the office after this presentation. So all those documents will be available for students. Now, if you are listening or with us from another part of the country other than Queensland, this presentation will be exactly the same for you. It doesn't matter what state you're in, the process is all the same. You will just be going through the College of Law New South Wales, and there are different dates, so that would be the main difference, and those dates would all be available on our website if you wanted to check those out. But certainly I will be talking from a College of Law Queensland point of view, but we can certainly get the dates to you as well. And perhaps I'll provide those to Julie when I go back to the office as well. So I hope you can all see my slides there. So what we're talking about today is what it takes to obviously go from being a law student where you are now through to being an admitted lawyer in whatever state it is that you're hoping to be admitted in. So first of all, to summarise, to be a legal practitioner, you need to satisfy a few steps. So the first thing you'll need to do, and yay, you're nearly there, or halfway there at least some of you, you need to obtain a law degree such as the one that you're doing at the moment. Then you would have to complete your Graduate Diploma of Legal Practice, or PLT. So it's the same name, so Practical Legal Training, which is the Graduate Diploma of Legal Practice. Then you would have to apply for admission to the Supreme Court of Queensland if you're wanting to practice in Queensland. Obviously, you apply for whatever state you want to practice in. And then in Queensland, after you are admitted, you then go back to the Queensland Law Society and apply for your practicing certificate, which is issued upon admission. You will also, to remain a legal practitioner or to keep that practicing certificate in play, you actually do have to renew it annually. You will need to complete your annual continuing professional development, which is 10 points a year for a lawyer. Now that's quite good. Those accountants have to do 120 hours every 3 years, with a minimum of 20 in every year. So actually, lawyers have got a good deal there. So what is our practical legal training all about? So it's our course, the PLT is a very practical based course. So you actually are working on or producing documents in a practical sense, and doing oral examinations in a practical sense, just like you would be doing in the workplace. So it actually is preparing you for the real life work as a lawyer. Completing your PLT is a requirement for admission in all states, as I have just stated. So it's not just a Queensland thing. Every state in Australia has the same requirement. And what we want to do is prepare you for practicing as a lawyer. So you'll be able to walk into the workforce, or as you're doing the PLT course, if you're working at the same time, you'll be able to take your learning straight back to the workforce and be putting them into practice in your job. It's the start of your legal career, and it is a really serious thing to put a lot of effort into. It's not just a tick box exercise, oh, I've got to get through this to get admitted. It really is an important step in your journey to becoming a lawyer or solicitor in your state. So the practical legal training that the College of Law program provides you. There's 3 components, and you have to work through all 3 or complete all 3 of these components to be able to move forward through to admission. So first of all, you have to complete all the coursework, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on that shortly. Then you have to complete the work experience component, and there's actually 2 strands to that, and I'll talk about that in a bit further detail shortly. And then you also have to complete the continuing professional education component of the course, and we give you all of the material you need to do as part of your login, your student login with the college. So coursework. First of all, a question that I get all the time is, when can I start? Because I'm super keen and I want to get admitted as fast as possible. And that's more than understandable. You can actually start your PLT as soon as you have finished your Priestley 11 course subjects, and you need to have no more than 2 electives remaining. So as you can see, you could perhaps start in your final term at CQU. But however, to do this, you do need to ask permission from the Queensland Legal Practitioners Admissions Board, which is part of the Queensland Law Society, and all PLT providers are subject to this rule. So you could start a little bit early if you wanted to. It depends on your capacity. Now, you do just need to bear in mind that starting the program with us means that you do need to do 1 week with us full time. So you need to just have the capacity to do that. So our course structure is you can either do it full-time or part-time. So our full-time program is 15 weeks in total, and our part-time is obviously 30 weeks in total. And for both of these programs, you do need to do 5 days or a full week with us, 9 to 5, at one of our intensive locations. And they're not just in Brisbane, they are throughout Queensland. So I'll share those locations with you shortly. So once you've got through that 5-day program, you will be able to do the rest of the program online. But you just need to give us that first week. Now, there is an option for you to do some classes. So that's only available in Brisbane on campus at the College of Law, which is right next door here at CQU. And that's a part-time evening program where you do 12 to 15 evening classes over those 30 weeks. So your all assessment will be done the same way. It doesn't matter which course you are in. The assessments are done as oral assessments, and they're completed online, much like a 2-way Skype, or it's a different program that we use, but it's an online sort of Skype oral assessment with your lecturer that's assigned to you. Okay, so don't have anything more to say. Oh, okay, so part of, there's no group assessment per se, but there will be some group participation in the workshop and activities in that first week. And all tasks throughout the course are very practical and task-based focus, and it's teaching you through everyday scenarios that will parallel into real life practice of law. We focus on solving problems and completing tasks, and obviously thinking and working as a lawyer. And you'll learn by doing, not just reading. So it is, as I say, very, very practical. So the coursework that you will complete, and it doesn't matter which program you're in, part-time or full-time, everyone will do that list of compulsory subjects, so civil litigation, commercial and corporate practice, ethics and professional responsibility, lawyer skills and property practice. So everyone does those subjects. Then you'll be required to choose 2 of these elective subjects. So you can see the list there: administrative law, banking and finance practice, consumer law, criminal practice, employment and industrial law practice, family law practice, planning and environmental law practice, and wills and estates practice. Now, you'll have to choose that at the beginning of your course. You've usually got till the first Friday to choose your electives, and certainly you'll choose them based on the areas of law you can see yourself practicing in and what you're particularly interested in. If you're already working, I would say it's a great idea to chat to your manager or the partner that you're working for, and talk about which elective subjects they think would be most useful for the position that you are in at that time. Now, if you are in some of the bigger top tier firms, 9 out of the top firms actually have us, the College of Law, come into their grad program and actually present the course and teach the course in their usually on site, actually, so down in their head offices. Now, they'll usually help you choose your elective subjects. So most of them will say, for example, a couple of the bigger ones say you have to do administrative law and you can choose your second elective, but you're not allowed to do family law, wills and estate, or criminal. That's because they don't practice in those areas. So if you're doing the program before you're working, go for it. Choose whatever you're most interested in. However, if you're working, some firms will make the selection for you, but some might just give you advice. But it really is up to you what you want to do there. So work experience, we've actually just changed the work experience rules as of the 1st of July, and they're much, much better than they used to be, actually. Lots simpler to understand as well. Now, there are 2 formats to complete your work experience component. Let's talk about the standard work experience option first up. So the work experience component is designed to give you insight into what it's like to work in a legal environment. It's actually working in a firm or volunteering, that counts too, gaining that practical experience and applying it to your studies and applying your studies to that practical work. Now, if you complete the standard format, you will do 75 days of work experience in a legal environment. Now, to be eligible, that work experience must occur in the delivery of legal services and be supervised by a legal practitioner who meets the work experience rules. So all those rules, and they're quite lengthy, are up on our website. So, for example, they will hold their own practicing certificate. Now, there are some exceptions to that. If you're working for a judge or if you're working in government, there are some exceptions there. So it's really worth reading those rules just to make sure you're understanding what applies to you. So 60 of those days can be actually completed before you start the PLT. So let's just pretend we're on the Monday of our first day of PLT. So anything, you can count 60 days that is from that starting point 2 years back, okay? And then you've got another 2 years going forward to obtain the next 15 days of work experience. If you're starting the PLT and you've got 20 days or 10 days or no days, you can still complete those 75 days. And once you're completed, that's when you will obtain your completion certificate for PLT. So if you would like to do the other format of work experience, and that's the short format, you only have to complete 25 days of work experience. However, you are required to do a clinical experience module. So it's an extra subject on top of the other subjects. It's not instead of any of the subjects. You still have to do that whole list that I've just outlined, but you do an extra module and you only have to complete 25 days of work experience. Now, that is there is an extra cost to that, and it's about another $1,000, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, 15 days have to be done after you start PLT, okay? So if you've got no work experience or only a few days and you want to get get through the to completion a little bit quicker, this is an option for you. So yeah, if you've only got 10 days or 5 days or no days, that's an option for you. But either way, you either complete short or you complete standard, and once that's completed and signed off, you'll be able to move through to your completion certificate for PLT. Now, examples can be clerkships, they can be paralegal work, they can be volunteering in community legal centres, and that's always a fantastic way to get some experience and give back to the community. You might have done a placement at Legal Aid. You can be working as a judge's associate. You can be working with an in-house lawyer. You can be working within the office of the DPP. So not just in a law firm as such. So if you're not sure, I encourage you to give our student services team a call and chat to them about what work experience you have been doing. So just to recap that, work experience is either 25 days of work experience within a legal environment, plus the clinical experience module, or 75 days in total of work experience. Now, the other thing that's just changed as well is it used to be that if you were doing your PLT with us full-time, none of the work that you were doing while you were completing your PLT full-time was counted. Now it's been changed, thank goodness, and you can actually count 2 days a week while you were doing PLT full-time. So it's a 15-week program. Obviously, 1 week you're with us full-time, and the other 14 weeks you can be accruing 2 days per week on your work experience component as well, whether it's short or standard. So those are a list of things that do count, as I've just mentioned. Assisting tribunal members is another one I didn't mention. Assisting a barrister in chambers, but they will all complete a form for you when you get to either the maximum amount of days that you need, or say if you did 20 days with one organisation and then we're moving to another organisation, that organisation or legal centre, for example, can sign off on that 20 days, and then the rest will be at another employer. So you don't have to do the work experience with one organisation or one employer. So if you're still struggling with work experience, a big tip for those of you who said you were halfway through your course is to make sure that you're getting work experience in those last 2 years of uni and move straight through to your PLT. I think it's you know, a great way to obviously not have to do that extra module, not have to pay for the extra module, but it's also great experience and things to be adding to your resume and your LinkedIn, and that will be helping you in your graduate interviews as well. So it's not just working towards your PLT, it's giving that richness to your resume that will help you find employment in the long term as well. So obviously CQU, you can work with the wonderful team here at Careers and Employment to assist you. They probably have a career hub or some sort of job board that you can look at here. So employers who are wanting to connect with CQU students for work experience will make offers. It's also important to come, if you're in Brisbane or will be in Brisbane around March, to the Legal Careers Expo, which the Queensland Law Society puts on. I do believe it will be March 20 of next year. I think it's of an evening, so after class. And we also have a College of Law job board for our PLT students. Of course, there's the Social Justice Opportunities website, there's a Pro Bono website, Justice Connect, National Association of Community Legal Centres, and the Beyond Law website's really great. So jump on that and see if there's any opportunities in your area as well. And I'm sure if you talk to the Careers and Employment team, they can give you some other strategies as well. But always be looking to add things to your resume and your work experience there. So work experience pre-approval. So as I said, you can have already accrued up to 60 days before you are starting with us at the College of Law, and we can approve that work experience as you're starting your PLT. So it's pretty easy. There's a form on our website, something called an application form that you'll have to complete. You also need to complete a declaration form. Your supervisor will sign that off, and then you return those to the college for approval. Now, just a note that that declaration form is a legal document, and we need to receive it with the actual original signatures on it, not a scanned copy. So make sure that that one's either dropped into the college if you happen to be in Brisbane, or Sydney if you're in New South Wales, or posted in via that snail mail operation that they run. Okay, so let's talk about the CPE component. So CPE introduces you to the importance of ongoing professional education, and it is really important that all professionals, so lawyers and accountants and doctors and people who are providing those professional skills to the public are continually updating their education. So you wouldn't want to go and see a doctor who trained 20 or 30 years ago and hadn't updated their medical knowledge since then. You want someone that has the latest information, and law is always changing. So as lawyers, we will be, it is lifelong learning. So there is two parts to the CPE, within the practical legal training. First of all, you'll do a part of our legal business skills. So these are things like develop time and work management, understanding commercial mindset, understanding financial documents, and communicating effectively. There's actually 10 modules that you can do. You have to complete 2, but if you do complete all 10, and really you could blast through them in a weekend, you will receive an extra certificate of legal business skills. And this series was actually developed in consultation with the employers that we work with, and it's a unique thing at the College of Law. So we're one of the only PLT provider that does something like this. And it's the skills are what lawyers need to have on top of their legal knowledge and skills. So we need to recognise that being a lawyer and working in whatever environment that you'll end up working in is a business. So you'll need those business skills as well as your legal skills to survive out in the workforce. There are also lots of legal series that you'll have access through to your College of Law login, and you can select from a number of online seminars that are provided to you for free, and it'll depend on what area of interest that you want to practice in, or you have a passion for. So whether it's family law or employment and industrial law or wills and estates or civil litigation. So you'll work through those as part of your PLT program, and that'll be the third part that you have to complete to actually gain your certificate of completion from the college. So some tips for fast tracking. Yes, you can start it as soon as you've completed your Priestley 11. If you so wish to do so, and you can be looking for work experience in that final 2 years of study at university to have it count towards your PLT, and make sure that you register that previous work experience as you start your PLT program. And if you really want to get through it faster, you can consider the college's short work experience option with that extra module, but just remember there are a few there is an extra cost to that. So our regional courses all start on the same date. So it does say the Gold Coast, but actually they start in Cairns. So Gold Coast, Cairns, Toowoomba, Townsville, and the Sunshine Coast all on the same date. So the online and the part-time. So obviously you'll do your group intensive as one group, and then some will continue for part-time and some will continue full-time. So the next one starting is the 27th of November this year. the full-timers will go through to March and the part-timers will go through to July. Or if you're not quite ready to start that one, the next one will be June next year. So we basically start our regional programs November and June of each year. You won't always do your intensive in the first week. Sometimes it's the second week. So for example, Cairns and Townsville start on the same day, but it's the same lecturer sometimes. So she'll do the first week with Townsville and then the second week with Cairns. But you'll know about that as you're getting to that. So that's why it says on-site dates to be confirmed. And all regional courses are run subject to minimum numbers. It's very rare, especially in the bigger centres like Townsville, that they don't run, but that is a possibility. So it is good to get your registration in early so that we know we can count on you and know that that course will go ahead. So Brisbane has a few more dates. So these are the intensive will start on the start dates. So there's a few more dates here, and again I'll provide, will all be provided to you. So the next one starting the 9th of October, 16th of October for part-time, and then a couple of dates in November, and then a couple in January, February, March, May and June. So you can see that we have regular start dates, and these will be for doing your intensive in Brisbane. So even if you are somewhere else in Queensland and you want to start on these course dates, you only need to be in Brisbane for that 1 week, Monday to Friday, and then you continue, then you go home and you do the rest of it online. So this is only really, the locations are really only for that intense week. And again, we offer PLT on-sites in Brisbane, in Cairns, in Townsville, in Toowoomba, on the Sunshine Coast and on the fabulous Gold Coast as well. Just bear in mind, if you're looking at starting PLT beginning of next year, to factor in the Commonwealth Games, because it will be a little bit hectic getting around for the Commonwealth Games, but I'm sure that's all taken into consideration. If you are looking to do your PLT through the College of Law in New South Wales, they only offer programs in Sydney, so you will have to head to Sydney. If you are in northern New South Wales, you certainly can come to the Gold Coast and do your intensive, but actually be a New South Wales student. The courses are essentially the same. The practice papers that you get will be different. So the Queenslanders will get the Queensland ones based on Queensland law, and the New South Wales ones will get the ones based on New South Wales. So there are slight differences just because of jurisdiction. But if you're in northern New South Wales and it's easier and quicker for you to get to Gold Coast, we can certainly do that for you. So here's the fees and payments. Now these may be subject to change when you start your program as well, because obviously a couple of you are a few years away yet. So the first column is with the short format work experience component. So that's doing that extra module. So Australian citizens and permanent residents, it's 10,450. But if you are doing the 75 days work experience, which is the standard format with work experience, it's 9,080. And you can see the international student one there if there's any international students on the call. You can pay up front. Sometimes your employer will pay for it, or you can use fee help as well if you're an Australian citizen as well. So fee help is the version of HEX for postgraduate studies, and this is certainly a postgraduate study. Lots of information about fee help on our website as well, and certainly on the Australian government website as well. So some reasons to choose to study PLT at the College of Law. We have a program that's very, very practical. It has been developed in consultation, and we always have consultation from industry. As I said, 9 out of the top 10 firms do use the College of Law as their preferred supplier, and you'll certainly be very practice ready, and our coursework is very task-based, hands-on learning, and we're the only provider that provides the legal business skills series. So pairing the business skills with your legal knowledge. So study how and when you want to study your PLT, choosing either part-time or full-time. You'll do your first 5 days face-to-face with some skills training, and then either full-time, part-time, or part-time with those evening classes are the options to choose. And you've got more than 10 courses in Queensland throughout the year. Actually, it keeps more than that, in locations such as Brisbane, Cairns, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba, and Townsville. So top to bottom and out west in this beautiful state of ours. It's certainly very attractive program to employers. We are the largest provider of PLT in the Australasian area, with a global reputation for excellence, and preferred provider of 9 out of the 10 top law firms. So if you are in one of those firms, you won't get a choice, actually. You'll be coming to us, so that's great news. You'll get lots of support and lots of guidance from our very dedicated lecturers, with one-on-one lecturer support and some very comprehensive practice papers that are provided when you start. You'll also enjoy the benefits for the rest of your life. We've got a very strong alumni chapter, and certainly more alumni events and opportunities throughout the state starting to happen as well. And we have some very regular networking events. And also, once you've graduated from your PLT, you'll be able to put 2 credits towards the College of Law Masters program as well. We've actually got some very exciting stuff happening from next year with our continuing professional education, so watch this space. Now, I certainly do encourage you. I'm sure there's a way that I can see and hear questions in a moment, and maybe Julie will jump back on and tell me what to do. But this is my contact details, so feel free to give me a call, drop me an email, jowen@collaw.edu.au, and certainly I'd encourage you all to link with me on LinkedIn. Now, if you're not on LinkedIn, sidebar, I'd like you to all get on LinkedIn and get a profile. I'm sure CQU have a lot of resources that they can help you with. I also have a little tip sheet I'm happy to send you if you drop me an email, but it's really important in this day and age to start forming that LinkedIn profile as part of your professional identity. We also have a wonderful, wonderful student support team, much like I'm sure your university does, and you can ring our 1300 number. So if you've got a question about the admin side of stuff, or if you want to talk work experience, please ring through to our student services team on that 1300 number, or you can email them at enrolments@collaw.edu.au, and please follow the college on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever tickles your fancy with social media. If you are in the Brisbane area and you'd like to come and meet with me, please drop me an email and let me know. I am literally next door to CQU, so happy to for you guys to take advantage of that and come and have a chat. So that's the end of my official presentation, and Julie's going to make those slides available. So if I just do this, can you, Jacob, can you still hear me? You're the only one I can see. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that.
We can see those on the screen there. Thank you, Jackie, for your time. Very informative presentation, and for opening up those access lines. Really helpful. If you have any questions out there in Zoom world, just pop them into chat, and Jackie will be happy to field those while she's online, or alternatively through the contact avenues that she's provided. There is a question there, Jackie, and it's just asking how many hours, it's just moved. How many hours per week does it normally take up? That
sure, that's
people
really
able to still work. That's one that's just come through.
That's a really good question. It is a little bit how long is a bit of string, but in ballpark, if you're doing that full time, it'd be the same as uni. So we would be saying you know, about that, you know, 20 to 30 hours a week full time. But you'll know, CQU, you're probably very used to learning online and learning with distance uni, so you might not find the transition as great. You know, part-time, it'd be half that. So it used to be that we didn't count work experience while you were studying full-time, because I guess someone decided way back when that if you were full-time doing study, you didn't have time to work as well. But we all know that that's not true. So yeah, I would be putting that sort of, you know, that 20 hours a week into it. If you were doing it full time, but everyone, you know, learns in a different way and in a different style. Some people it's going to take more. Some people that might be able to get by with less. But certainly the results, like anything else, what you put in is what you'll get out. And if you're putting that that 20-ish hours a week in to get through, you know, between 20 and 30 hours a week, you will be, you know, getting the most out of it.
So far, I think there's no other questions that have come through, more just some thank you notes. So thanks everyone for joining us. There's still just a last moment, so if there are any burning questions, do pop them through the chat at the moment while we have Jackie with us.
I might just say one more thing, Julie.
Yes.
Our online learning system is really quite amazing. It's a really good system. So we are set up to be an online education provider. So in that first week, you'll actually work through that. There is a whole session on how to use the online portal, but basically our program is designed so you just follow the bouncing ball. So you'll be doing this subject first, and then each subject is divided into modules, and then each module is divided into tasks, and then you work through everything, you know, everything in a subject. And then at the end, so there will be some assessment that you'll have to provide along the way, and they will be, you know, for example, you know, preparing documents and you know, practical applications of law. For each subject, you'll do an online assessment, so sort of an oral through a Skype-like system. But to get to the end of, so you submit all your the coursework along each of those individual markers, so each through all the tasks and all the modules, and then at the end you do an online like a multiple choice test, and that's designed to say, hey, yes, you're ready to sit the oral assessment, or no, you might want to go back and do a little bit more work. But once you pass that multiple choice test, then you move into being able to sit your oral assessment. And then once you pass that, and you'll know straight away, the lecturers give you heaps of feedback, and then once you've passed that, you move on to the next subject, and that's pretty much how it works all the way along. It also is really great if that you're submitting assessment and tasks along the way, and as if you are not passing those, you actually will get heaps of feedback from your lecturers, and then you'll be able to resubmit that. So it's heaps of support, heaps of information, and heaps of feedback along the way. So pretty much you just follow how it's all laid out and what you have to do next, and you know, put that work in, and keep up with it as well would be my tip as well. Don't fall behind. Even if you are busy at work or have to go to court or have a big case on, try and keep on touch, you know, on top of it as much as you can, and also keep in touch with us if anything does come up. So, you know, you won't be the only one having to go to court or do this sort of stuff. So just let us know, hey, I'm not going to be able to sit that oral assessment, and we'll shuffle things around for you. So it's very, very flexible, and you're going to get lots of support and lots of feedback along the way.
Great, thank you. And we're having a lot of the students popping their student ID in along the way. If you're happy, Jackie, to even send those slides through to either me or Kinga, and we'll make those accessible for students.
Yes.
Thanks again for your time. We really appreciate you taking the time out and travelling all that way from next door. And really helpful and valuable information for students today. So thank you very much.
That's my absolute pleasure.
For popping over. So we'll finish off there today, and keep in mind that we will be keeping this recording, so you can refer back to it later, or just we'll organise that shortly. And thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. I look forward to talking soon, and see you at college.